I think folks in the community need to understand that not everyone truly does have the same opportunity when it comes to this. It's so much about that that mentoring piece, and providing kind of that guiding force. A lot of times people think it just hinges around money, right? And that's not the case. You can have a full scholarship or full financial resource to go to college, but if you don't have the confidence or a mentoring system or a network or just an understanding of how it works, it's not going to work. And so, I think students, especially under-resourced students, really need a support network to help provide the scaffolding, is the way I would look at it, to really get them through that process. Otherwise, imagine how overwhelming it is if you've never been exposed to, a setting like a higher education system. And so I think, a scaffolding and support network system so that we can provide our students with confidence and the skills necessary is a huge part of it.
And so I would add to that, I think students need technological resources. A lot of these courses, they require the use of iPads and laptops and clickers and other kinds of technology. So I think students need to come to college prepared to have those, or be prepared to find a way to get those technology resources. I also think students need to have housing resources. Not every student can afford to live in the residence hall. So if they're going to live in a community, then do they have really good, safe places to live, for example? I think they need knowledge resources. In other words, do they know how to navigate the system? Do they know how to interact with the staff, with the faculty members, for example? And students have to have the ability to self-advocate for themselves. So they have to have some communication skills, resources as well. Housing insecurity, I would say health insecurity. A lot of our students don't have access to quality health care because they don't have the financial resources. They don't have the insurance, for example. So students have to often decide, well, I'm going to try to heal myself, if you will, or I'm going to work longer so I can make enough money to pay the copay. But working longer to pay a copay to take care of your health means potentially jeopardizing preparation for an upcoming test. These are some choices that a lot of students have to make, especially if those students are also parenting students who don't have access to social service resources, for example.
And I think just to piggyback off that, the key word that, Dr. Sutherland has said, and that both of you I think have said once or twice, is access. Access is the word that I would lean into the most for this. And so I think of, the health example, for instance. Sure, most of our students probably have some form of health insurance, but even those that do, think about the American healthcare system as it is right now. Okay, I've worked in housing, I've ran housing here, and when we have a medical emergency, how ridiculous is it that we have students, 18-year-old students that are saying, I can't get in an ambulance, it's going to cost me too much, even if they have insurance, because the student has to worry about the bill it's going to send to them, or if they have a parent or parents, what that's going to mean, even with insurance. And so access is a big thing. And even backing up a little bit more, we're not even really able to fully understand or assess, how many students are not able to go from point A to point B, point A being wherever they were before, point B being college, to come here and utilize the services that Student Affairs is providing, to utilize the financial resources and support that Financial Aid is providing. Sometimes just that step there, because we can't be everywhere, right? Higher education can't be in all the schools. We can't provide counselors to every school. And for a rich school that might have a guidance counselor, a school that does not have resources and they're relying on teachers and volunteers to help navigate that system, access is the biggest piece. Some have it, some don't. So it's ironic but not surprising that those with fewer resources have to do more work. Okay? And so think about it. If you are a student that's experienced homelessness, foster care, if you are a student that is lower income or has less of a family contribution, you have to jump through more hoops in order to secure that financial aid. It seems ridiculous, but it is the truth. And so the way to look at it is, because it's a federal process, you do the FAFSA, the free application for student aid. Most of the time, those students and their families, if applicable, then have to submit additional documentation, or as it's referred to, verification. Otherwise, we are not permitted, the financial aid office is not permitted to confirm their financial aid or disperse that aid. Whereas If I am a student, you know, who has more resources or whatever, I submit my FAFSA, boom, it's done. Sure, maybe I don't get the same amount of grants as those students, but I have to do a lot less work to get it. And that, again, is an access and an equity issue.
Right.